When it comes to Hades 2, there are countless of builds and weapon aspects to choose from, each one with its own unique quirks on the style, but few options feel as unique and rewarding as the aspect of the charon, the moonstone axe. Unlike the other aspects, the charon is not about simple swings or the straightforward damage. Instead, it thrives on carefully crafted synergy between the Omega Special and the cast, which is further fueled by a key boon called the lucid gain. Most aspects reward brute force, clean combos, or simple stat boosts. The charon is different. It's not about swinging harder or faster, but it's about combining different amount of moves together that few other weapons can replicate. The entire playstyle revolves around the powerful synergy between your Omega Special and the cast, turning them into a devastating combo that detonates entire groups of enemies in a single swoop. The secret ingredient that makes the build function is the boon lucid gain. Without it, you will constantly run out of magic. With it, you unlock a loop of near endless destruction. So drop a cast, unleash your Omega Special to detonate it, then watch the battlefield erupt, and then repeat the cycle over and over again. This constant exchange of resources and explosions make the build feel smooth, controlled, and incredibly rewarding when executed well. And remember, if you want to track this build, look up the best items, boons, aspects, and path of building, then check my link in the description. Also, if you're interested in buying other PC or console games with 50 or 70% discount, then check out Instant Gaming. For example, I want to buy Elden Ring, so we just click on Add to Cart, then click Pay, then input our details and pay. After payment is complete, we will receive activation key, then copy and paste the key in, and it's that simple. So what are you waiting for? Click my link in the description and check out Instant Gaming for yourself. So let's take a look at our build's main part, which is the weapon aspect. The aspect of the charon transforms the moonstone axe into a powerhouse that is centered around a deadly interaction. The idea is simple: you drop a cast, then charge, and then release your Omega Special. In this aspect, the Omega Special detonates the cast, triggering what's often called the cleave cast explosion. This blast will mirror your Omega cast and deliver tremendous AoE damage. It's perfect for dealing with clustered enemies or pushing bosses with devastating bursts. Because this playstyle burns through the magic at a rapid pace, the lucid gains become essential. It ensures that every cast you place will restore enough magic to keep chaining Omega Specials without running dry. When paired with the right boons from the Apollo and the others, this combo is not only sustainable, but it's the highest DPS in the game. Overall, the flow of combat is super easy. You drop a cast, then charge special, then detonate, then reposition, and rinse and repeat. It's about timing and the setup rather than the mindless swinging, which makes charon very different compared to the other axe setups. So let's take a look at our build specifics. The Arcana cards will play a huge role in supporting the charon's demanding style. There's some flexibility depending on the fear level that you're aiming for, but for a solid baseline, you would want to include cards like the Sorceress 1, the Wayward Sun 2, the Furious 6, Persistent 7, the 12, the Centaur 8, Origination 14, the Lovers 15, the Enhancer 16, the Boatman 22, the Queen 20, the Fates 21, the Champion 22, and Divinity the 24. The reason behind this spread is balance. So damage amplification, survivability, and the magic regeneration will all matter. For example, cards like the Boatman and the Sorceress synergize beautifully with a constant cast usage. Meanwhile, cards such as the Persistence or the Dead give you valuable endurance for the high fear runs. If you want survivability, then you can swap in options like Eternity, which slows time around enemies and makes landing your Omega Special super safe. Or on the other hand, if you're comfortable with bosses or want to lean into aggression, then you can remove defensive picks to stack more offense. The flexibility here is one of the best things about charon. There's always room to experiment and fine-tune the build to your needs. Then next, let's take a look at the keepsakes, which give you room to adapt depending on your goal. For charon, the most important starting keepsake is the Harmonic Fountain, which helps to establish your boon setup early on. Beyond that, that's more open-ended. The Iridescent Fan is a strong choice if you're chasing boons for the Hera, the Demeter, or the Poseidon. Similarly, the Gorgon Amulet can be valuable if you're looking for survivability, no matter if it's through the Athens Mental Block or replenishing the Dead Defiance with a renewed fate. And then for later stages, like the Tartarus or the Summit, defensive keepsakes, such as the knuckle bones or engraved pin, can keep you alive through the punishing fights. However, if you're running very aggressive strategies, then Black and Fleece will offer a direct damage boost to your Omega special, which synergizes perfectly with the Charon style. The speedrunners may also like the Fifth Leaf, especially Oceanus or the Thessaly, as it lines up well with the Charon's reliance on the efficient magic use. Next we got Familiars, which is another layer of customization. Technically, most can work with this build, but one stands out above the rest. Raki enhances both Omega Special and Omega Cast by doubling down on the Charon's strengths, but other companions will also work, like the Tula or the Gale, that offer survivability boosts if you are relying on the Arcana cards, such as the 12 or the Strength 23. The only familiar I would not recommend is the Hekuba, since Lucid Gain already gives excellent magic sustain, so Hekuba priming is not for the slot. Next for your Hex, the Lunar Ray is the standout choice. Apollo's Godsend Shine provides immense burst damage, and Lunar Ray pairs perfectly with the regeneration armor and keeping you alive while you're charging Omega specials. It's both offensive and defensive, exactly what the Charion needs. Then next, the heart of this build will lie in the boons. Above all else, we want to prioritize the Lucid Gain. Without it, the Charon feels clunky and starved of resources. With it, your Omega special will cost 30 magic, but your cast will refund at least 40, by creating this cycle where you're never empty. And this is what keeps the Cleave cast chain alive. From there, you want to boost two key elements, the Omega special and Omega cast. For specials, the Sworn Flourish is a top tier pick. It applies Hitch, which is one of the strongest curses, making enemies damage one another and clearing crowds in seconds. Alternatively, the Nova Flourish will offer increased damage scaling and range. It also enables Exceptional Talent, which is a legendary boon that skyrockets your potential when paired with the Hammer upgrade. For cast, the strong options will include the Tidal Ring for the extra curse, Engagement Ring if you skipped Hitch earlier, or Solar Ring for the daze and the high burst. The Tidal Ring is particularly effective if you're using Denial, while Solar Ring simply offers raw numbers. Beyond the core picks, the Demeter's Local Climate will add reliable percentage increases to your Omega cast damage, while Poseidon's Gaysayer Spout can push your cast explosions to insane levels. Then Hermes boons like the Racing Tots will speed up your Omega special channeling by improving both safety and the DPS. Core Target will add a layer of defense if needed, while Success Rate can shine simultaneously depending on the other picks. Then Artemis has two tempting boons, Killing Stroke or the Shadow Pounce. The first one adds critical chance and it drains magic, while the second one will boost the Omega special and cast without the extra cost, which makes it the most consistent choice for the Charion. Then Athena's value will depend on your setup. Renewed Fate can replace the Lost Dead Defiance as the lifesaver in a longer run, but Hades himself can also offer the Cinerary Circle by adding yet another damage source to your already heavy bursts. Next we have Daedalus Hammer. Two hammers will dominate this setup, which is the Giga Cleaver and the Sudden Cleaver. The Giga Cleaver will amplify your Omega special's damage dramatically. With proper timing, you can even trigger two Omega cast explosions during a single special, specifically if you've unlocked Exceptional Talent. Meanwhile, the Sudden Cleaver will accelerate the pace of your Omega specials. Faster casting means more damage output and quicker escapes from the danger. Both upgrades are outstanding and will define the flow of our run. And then when it comes to offerings, there are a handful of chaos offerings that feel tailor-made for our build. The Flourish and the Chasm both scale directly into our Omega abilities. Revelation and the Chant will further enhance the Omega attacks across the board, while Chant requires another chaos boon to activate. Keepsakes like Transcendence Embryo or the Spark of the Ixion can help you to guarantee very easy access. Next we have the Poms of the Power. How you spend your Poms will depend on what you roll early. If you picked up the common Lucid Gain, then Pum it once it bumps up the refund high enough to sustain both the Giga Cleaver and the Exceptional Talent build. But if your Lucid Gain starts at a rare or better, then it's usually smarter to invest into the Poms into your damage boons, so your special, your cast, and especially the Gaysayer Spout. And now finally, let's take a look at the gameplay. The basic rotation for the Charion is consistent and effective. At the start of each fight, just cast, then dash and then use Omega Special. These detonation bursts will wipe enemies quickly, and thanks to the lucid gain, you can chain this combo almost 24/7. The key is avoiding overpriming your magic. This aspect will live and die on resource management, so if you run dry, then you lose the ability to detonate the casts, and then the build collapses on itself. At higher fear levels, certain vows are best avoided. The vow of the forfeit or combination like the hordes, grit and wards can make the charon's life miserable, since they interfere with the Omega Special spamming. Rivals also get significantly harder under these conditions, so pick your battles carefully. For survival, Renewed Fate is invaluable. In regions like the Oceanus or the Fields of the Morning, you can specifically burn the standard Dead Defiance in environmental hazards like lava or the thorn bushes, and then replace it with the Renewed Fate upgrade version. Always save reroll for this boon, as without it your high fear run can crumble. And finally, keep an eye on your hammer count. If you're struggling to find the Giga Cleaver or the Sudden Cleaver, then Regen 3 can give you sometimes your 4 hammer chance in a single run, and that's enough to stack the upgrades that you need to carry your build into the endgame.